Here's to the man who hasn't taken a real vacation in over 5 years. Who eats lunch at his desk because visibility equals dedication. He told his kids, yeah, I'll be at your next soccer game, and fully meant it, though you missed the last five. Who spent $800 a month on a biohacking stack, hired a nutritionist, and even tracks your HRV daily, and is still completely hollow inside. He solved a $30 million operational problem for his company, but can't explain why he sits in his car for 20 minutes before walking into that corporate job he's tired of. This one's for you, bro. You're killing it. I spent 25 years in five-star kitchens. Burnout wasn't a buzzword in that world. It was the business model. Work until you break, then work through the break. Call it dedication. I never saw it as burnout because I was kicking ass. On the inside, I felt like shit. I figured that was just a job. What I had wasn't burnout, it was addiction. Now let's talk about what's actually killing you. You think you have burnout. Burnout implies collapse. Burnout is the guy who stops showing up. Can't get out of bed, files for leave, misses his KPIs. That's not you. You're still kicking ass. Still the guy everybody calls when something needs to get done. You're still functioning at a level most people will call success. You're not burned out. You're addicted. And you've been addicted long enough that you forgot you had a choice. Achievement was a drug. The promotion, the clothes, the title, the being the guy who handles it. Early on, the hit was clean. You landed something and it felt like something. Real, solid, worth the cost. Then the hits got smaller. So you needed a bigger hit. You needed more. Bigger title, larger scope, more pressure, more problems only you could solve. Same mechanism as every addiction in history. The dose escalates, the return diminishes, and the cycle continues. You didn't build a career, man. You built a habit. And the withdrawal, the moment it stops, that's what you're actually afraid of. Not failure, not starting over. The silence where the hit used to be. Here's what this looks like when the drug is the achievement and the addict is still in the building. Here are 4 lesser-known signs of burnout that addicts also experience. Sign 1, decision fatigue that reads as calm. You used to move fast. Decide, commit, execute. That was your edge. Now everything runs through 18 filters before you commit. And people think you've matured into a thoughtful leader. What actually happened is you're running on empty and conserving energy for the next hit. Addicts don't waste energy between doses. Sign 2, performing presence. You're at dinner, the kids' game, in bed, physically there, completely, mentally somewhere elsewhere. You've learned to nod at the right times, you ask the right questions, and you simulate being in the room. Meanwhile, your brain is in the next quarter. That next thing that might actually make you feel something, call it what it is, withdrawal. Sign 3, numbing rituals disguised as optimization. I have tested this one thoroughly for you. The whiskey after 9 p.m. you call unwinding. The doom scroll you call staying informed. The podcast at 2 times speed during dinner you call efficiency. The supplement stack, the cold plunge, the breath work. You're not optimizing your performance. You are managing symptoms so you can get back to using. Sign 4, the hit, stop landing. If you close the deal, you hit the number, you got the promotion, and for about 45 minutes, maybe even a day if you're lucky, it felt like something, and then nothing. So you look for the next one. Not because you're ambitious, because the relief wore off faster than it used to. That's tolerance. The same mechanism as every addict who ever swore they had it under control. Before I go further, if you watch those 4 signs and recognize yourself in more than 2 of them, I want you to do one thing. In the description, there's something called the Next Move Audit. It's something I built specifically that names the thinking errors, keeping high performance exactly where you are, and it walks you to the one move in front of you. Not a plan, not a reinvention, not some bullshit 47-step framework some guy wrote while he was finding himself in Bali. One move. Grab it. Link is in the description. I'll be here when you get back. Here's what this addiction looks like in the wild. The high-performing addict will miss the recital and make the board meeting and genuinely believe he made the right call. Will promise to be present after this quarter. Yeah, that was after quarter 4, 2021. Spend actual money on a therapist every other Tuesday. Very progressive of him. And use half the session problem-solving work issues because sitting with the real thing is too uncomfortable. Tell his wife things will slow down soon. Yeah, she stopped responding. She's heard it for 9 years. Have a 5-year strategic plan for his organization and absolutely no idea what he wants his life to look like in 5 years. Solve a $40 million supply chain problem and completely blank on why his son stopped initiating conversations. Optimize everything except the thing that actually needs fixing. Here's what nobody says out loud. The system rewards every bit of it. His performance reviews don't say, missed everything that mattered. They say results-driven, strategic, high potential, exceeds expectations. Nobody stages an intervention for this. You get a performance bonus instead. Addicts don't quit because life gets bad. Life is bad for years. They quit when they finally admit the drug stopped working. The achievement isn't paying what it used to. The title doesn't fill the gap, and the KPIs are green, and you feel nothing. You're not running towards something anymore. You're running because stopping feels worse. In the kitchen, we had a name for guys like this: lifers. Men who stayed in the heat long past the point it made sense because they didn't know who they were without it. The industry became their identity. The chaos became the comfort. Same man, different building. And the men who get out, I watch them. They're not the ones who hit rock bottom first. They are the ones who recognize the pattern while they still have something worth protecting. Before the separation, before the health goes, before the kids stop calling, they decide the drug isn't working and choose differently. That decision does not require courage. It requires something high performers struggle with: being honest with themselves. The question is whether you're willing to be honest before the costs get higher. If this landed, if some part of you watched this and thought, ooh, that's a little bit closer to the truth than I want to admit, that's the moment. Most men file it under interesting and go back to the loop. The Next Move Audit is in the description. It's free. It's the one move in front of you. That's it. Kurt, I help senior leaders make the next right move faster. If you dig this kind of content, give me a follow and subscribe. If you don't, follow and subscribe out of spite. Cheers.